Hi, this is John Cullen. Welcome to another IAMJOHNCULLEN Podcast. This episode, we're going to take a look at ShotSpotter. What is ShotSpotter exactly? Let's take a closer look.
A gun is fired somewhere in your city. So what happens now?
ShotSpotter is an acoustic surveillance technology that is intended to identify, locate, and alert police to incidents involving gunshots fired in certain areas of the valley.
I'm Captain Jim LaRochelle at the Northeast Area Command. Let me further explain how this technology works.
By utilizing advanced technology honed over 2 decades, we have automated the process. We monitor gunfire activity 24/7. So if a gun is fired in any area within ShotSpotter coverage, the system detects, locates, and immediately alerts police of the gunshot.
On November the 15th, 6 weeks after the attack in Las Vegas, the Las Vegas Metro Police Department announces that they're going to be deploying ShotSpotter. What that means is that their pilot program has completed. So they deployed the system in a pilot mode, ran it in a test mode for some time, and 6 weeks after the October the 1st attack, they announced at a press conference that they're going to be deploying the system in production. So this is that press conference. Let's take a look at that.
Commissioner Marilyn Kirkpatrick, Colonel Murray, and his team from the Nellis Air Force Base. The program is called ShotSpotter.
So did you catch that? How many police department press briefings does the Air Force usually attend? Why is the Air Force at this press briefing? We went to research Colonel Murray, and we found something that's a real interesting new twist. Talk about that at the end of the podcast. So let's stay focused on ShotSpotter, and then we'll come back and talk more about Colonel Murray and his team.
ShotSpotter is an acoustic surveillance technology that is intended to identify, locate, and alert police to incidents involving gunshots fired in certain areas of the valley.
I'm Captain Jim LaRochelle at the Northeast Area Command. Let me further explain how this technology works. As an example, during the calibration of the system, when we started to implement the technology, live shots were fired in several locations under controlled conditions. Today, if someone fires a gun in these neighborhoods, the ShotSpotter system will pick up the gunfire and provide officers with the exact location of where the gunfire occurred in no more than 45 seconds.
So how does it work? It starts with acoustic sensors that are placed on buildings or lampposts throughout a neighborhood. If a gun is fired anywhere in the area, multiple sensors detect and timestamp the sound. The precise location of the gunshot is determined based on the amount of time it takes for the sound of the gunshot to travel to each individual sensor, effectively triangulating the sound. The exact location of the detected gunshot is indicated by a dot on a map.
The implementation of this program in our community was a task that took many months.
So let's assume that the pilot program was in place for many months. As he just said, it took many months. So if they had a pilot program in place, does that mean that Jim LaRochelle and his team have the data that shows where the gunfire was coming from the night of October the 1st? And we believe the answer to that is yes. Now, is there evidence that Jim LaRochelle might have had information that made him feel compromised? Is there any evidence of that? And the answer to that is yes. So let's take a closer look at Jim LaRochelle. And might he have had accidentally collected, as part of his pilot program, the smoking gun?
The implementation of this program in our community was a task that took many months. We could not have done it without the assistance of the county commissioners and Marilyn Kirkpatrick joining us here today. The funding for this pilot program was made possible through the University of Reno's Cooperative Extension Program and the Friends of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Foundation. We thank for everyone for who's joining in with us to bring this tool to bear in the fight against the violent crime in our city, particularly in the Northeast Area Command with the help of Nellis Air Force Base.
Hi, I'm Ramsey Dennison, director of What Happened in Vegas, and I'm here today with a really good friend of mine, a man named Mikey Slyman, who is in charge of a website called Las Vegas Emergency Incidents. Anytime anything big goes down in Vegas, they're the first ones to know about it.
We have a Facebook page with about 50,000 members. Those people all listen. So we have about 50,000 people listening to everything that's going on in Vegas. As soon as something hits those scanners, they're reporting it to our page.
Right, Mikey, and tell me what you heard on those scanners on Thursday, December 21st.
We started hearing this missing person. You know, they're putting a bolo out, which is be on the lookout for. And they gave his description, and the description of, he's driving like a 97 Land Rover. And normally that happens once or twice throughout the day. They kept broadcasting this missing person all through the day. So finally, one of the guys in my group said, well, I'm going to look this guy's name up because they're really concerned about this missing person. All of a sudden, we looked it up, and we looked up the name James La Rochelle and put the pieces together. Holy crap, this is a Metro captain. At 2 a.m., this guy goes off the grid. And no cell phone activity. Metro is pinging his cell phone, and they couldn't find him. They were concerned enough to broadcast it to every media station as far away as Arizona. My friends in Arizona said it was showing up on their news.
I wanted to see if he was in any way connected to the Vegas mass shooting, so I started looking into James La Rochelle's background, and what I found is that he was instrumental in this new technology called ShotSpotter.
Shepard Ambellas of Intellihub cites Mikey Slyman in this article that Shepard posted at Intellihub on January the 10th. And in this article where Shepard covers the story, that they were looking for Jim La Rochelle and that he went missing December 21st, but was located later the same day. I'm not sure that it was the same day. But Shepard was on top of this. He reported it. Ramsey Dennison covered it. And the question is, why would a police captain disappear? And why would they have be on the lookout for a police captain? It just seems a bit strange. So this is the guy that was responsible for rolling out ShotSpotter, and he goes missing December 21st.
Which uses sensors to track gunfire.
Theories were that he knew too much about what's going on with the top brass over there at Metro, and that maybe someone had gotten rid of him. Another theory was that maybe the feds had picked him up and were gonna try to work him as a witness against Metro. It was huge news while he was missing, and then once they found him, it just disappeared. And he hasn't made any public statements or anything afterwards.
And nobody has spoken about it, and nobody knows what really went on or why James La Rochelle vanished with a bunch of guns and then suddenly reappeared. It's one of the many odd situations surrounding this extremely strange Vegas mass shooting.
So why would Captain James La Rochelle disappear? Let's take a closer look at ShotSpotter.
ShotSpotter Respond has been beneficial to our agency because it's allowed us to get the technology of ShotSpotter into the hands of officers and allowed them to use it on their mobile phone device or the computers in their police cars. In my day-to-day activities, I use ShotSpotter Respond by logging into the mobile app on the phone and the car computer so that I can strategically and quickly respond to the site of alerts as they come in real time. Then we always want to make sure that we maintain communication with dispatch whenever we're responding to an alert. ShotSpotter Respond has put the technology in the hands of officers out on the street. It gives them the opportunity to get real-time alerts the same time that dispatch would get the alerts. Nearly 100% of the time, we come.
One of the things that's consistent with the Las Vegas Metro Police Department body cam releases is that if they're inside a patrol car, they're very careful to block out whatever the display is showing in the patrol car. And of course that begs the question, why? What is showing on these screens that's so pivotal, that's so important that we have to block this out on over 1,000 videos? So the LVMPD, before releasing these videos, went through each and every one of them to see if these computer screens were visible. And in cases where it was visible, they tried to block it out. In some cases they did a better job than others. They also blocked out the cell phones that the police were using in most cases. Now, is that because these officers are piloting ShotSpotter? Is there ShotSpotter data showing up on these computer terminals, showing them that there's gunfire happening in multiple locations? Is that why we're not being shown this information? Is that why the LVMPD spent so much time and energy covering this up? So let's go back to the press conference, the ShotSpotter press release press conference, and let's listen more closely and see if we can learn something from this press conference.
Commissioner Marilyn Kirkpatrick, Colonel Murray and his team from the Nellis Air Force Base, our community outreach person from Friends of Metro Foundation.
So the first question we asked is, why is the Air Force at the Las Vegas Metro Police Department's press release about ShotSpotter? What's the Air Force have to do with that? So we pull up the map. Let's pull up Nellis Air Force Base in the upper right-hand corner. We draw a line from Nellis Air Force Base to Mandalay Bay. It's 12 miles. So 12 miles from Mandalay Bay to Nellis Air Force Base. That's how far away it is. Now, why would they be at this press briefing? And who is Colonel Murray? So again, it doesn't take much effort. We do some searching for Colonel Murray and Nellis, and we find this article. The Air Force Security Forces Commander at Nellis and Creech relieved. And this article is November 14th, so this is 6 weeks after the attack. But it says that Colonel Gerald Allman was relieved October 16th. Even Blake Apgar at the Las Vegas Review-Journal reported on the change of command at Nellis. So Las Vegas Review-Journal reports on this. And this is all happening just 2 weeks after the attack. Lieutenant Colonel Gerald C. Allman was relieved of duty as commander of the 99th Security Forces Squadron by Colonel Paul Murray. On October 16th, Major John Hart assumed command of the squadron October 17th. And nobody's connecting the dots here. Nobody's connecting the fact that there's a change in command at Nellis 2 weeks after the attack at Route 91.
Kirkpatrick, Colonel Murray and his team from the Nellis Air Force Base, our community outreach person from Friends of Metro Foundation, Latoya Holman, and a number of other people here today who are important and vital to this effort.
So less than a year after being assigned this Nellis operation, Colonel Murray is reassigned and taken out of Nellis. We started this podcast talking about ShotSpotter, but it was at the ShotSpotter press conference that we learned about the Air Force's involvement, and then we dig into the Air Force and we find out that there's been a lot of turnover at Nellis beginning 2 weeks after the attack. I think that's a pretty major development.